up, alienARMy? I am Oculus, the alien next door, purveyor of esoteric lore. And on this channel, we discuss everything out of this world. So today's topic, we are going to be talking about two sides of the same coin. And I speak about this a lot in my videos where there are different poles, polarities, but it's the same thing, a different degree. So just to briefly explain, there are always two sides to everything. There can be an aspect that is considered positive. There can be an aspect that is considered negative. There's an aspect that can be considered cold. There's an aspect that can be considered hot. So there's always going to be a pair of opposites no matter what it is. So there's always two sides to the same coin, because if we want to think of a pole as a coin, it has a heads, it has a tails, what have you. So what I'm going to be speaking about today, as conveyed to me, is two sides of the same coin, about the fifth dimensional energy and the fourth dimensional energy, Jesus energy, Satan energy. And these are the two energies that are prevalent and overlaid over the third dimensional planes. And this is the easiest example. We have the devil on one shoulder, we have the angel on the other shoulder. And there's always going to be a choice in every now moment. Are you going to look at what the devil is doing? Are you going to look at what the angel is doing? So however you want to call them, if you want to think of Jesus and Satan as people, if you want to think of Jesus and Satan as energies, however you want to look at them, if you want to look at it as good and evil, what have you, it's just, for me, as I'm being conveyed, is like there's always going to be like a fourth dimensional standpoint, and there's always going to be a fifth dimensional standpoint, because that's the pole of the two prevalent energies that are interwoven into the fabric of the third dimensional plane. So that's why we always have the choice, devil, angel, which way are you looking? So they have the same agenda, and you can see this everywhere. You can see this in the metaphorical good cop, bad cop situation. They both have the same agenda. They want to get the bad guy, but the good cop is going to go about it in a different way than is the bad cop. But they have the same goal in mind. So with the agenda that I'm speaking about today, we can look at it from an occult perspective, and this would be fourth dimensional. This would be Satan energy, devil, Lucifer, what have you. And then we have the fifth dimensional standpoint, which would be Christ consciousness, Jesus, love, whatever. But it's the same agenda for those on the earth matrix in the third dimensional plane. So how are these two going different routes to the same destination? And before I get into that, I do just want to say that both choices are always going to be available to you. I mean, providing you didn't make a contract with the devil, you know what I'm saying? If you done sold your soul, which you can't do anyway because you are a soul, but that's the tricky part, isn't it now? If you've done that, then no, you're gonna be on the fourth dimensional path. That's just what it is. But if you are a sovereign, as I'm sure you most likely are if you're watching a video like this, then you always have a choice. You can go the easy route or you can go the hard route. But either which way, you're going to get where the fuck you have to go. The difference between these two is that, let's say, the agenda right now is for the ascension process on earth. Are you going to go the easy way, or are you going to go the hard way? This is fourth dimensional energy. This is something that is going to be maybe tricked, coerced. It's going to invoke some sort of fear emotion in the one who's participating in it. Whereas the easy way is free flowing and natural. There's no fear associated with it because you know you're gonna get where the fuck you have to go, and you're along for the ride, you're along for the journey. So With the fifth dimensional energy, the easy way, the good cop, the Jesus Christ consciousness energy is just accepting everything as it is, realizing that there can be a dark side to it, but if you remain in your knowingness of the now moment and you know that whatsoever path you follow, you're going to be led to someplace joyous, then your journey is going to be more joyful than someone who chooses the hard way, from someone who chooses to consciously close their eyes to their environment and what they know. So if you've ever had a choice and you made a decision, but you knew that it was a bad decision on your part, but you went with it anyway, how did that choice turn out compared to another choice that you knew was the right way to go? And it might not have made logical sense to you, but you're like, you know what, it feels right to do this, let me do that. So the hard way would be a choice is presented to you. Let's say a fork in the road is presented to someone in a third dimensional vessel. Now, the fourth dimensional way and the fifth dimensional way are going to be beckoning to the observer in different manners. The fourth dimensional one might be full of shiny things, and it might have some good looking people there. It might have some Rolls Royce. It might have a lot of stuff, right? Like stuff to, hey, come this way. But you're like, I don't know if that really resonates with me. I mean, it looks good, but like you feel kind of weird about it. Whereas the fifth dimensional choice, you can see all those good looking motherfuckers. You could see the Rolls Royce, you could see the castle in the sky, but the road getting there is a little bit longer than the fourth dimensional path, where everything is just presented to you, but it feels kind of weird because you see some cobwebs and some shadows lurking in the background, but it just, look, everything's right there. You're like, wait, but something about it is just don't feel right. Whereas the fifth dimensional path is like, wow, like there's this open road and it looks peaceful and there's a blue sky and the sun is shining. And, oh, whoa, is that a Rolls Royce in the distance? Yes, it is. Wait, but there's a Rolls Royce here. Who is that shady figure driving it? Who is that shady motherfucker behind the wheel, though? Who is that? Do I want to find out? It's going to be more like that. So there's always going to be a choice presented, and the main goal is to have everything you want. But are you going to get in the Rolls Royce that just rolls up to your house with a shady looking motherfucker behind the wheel and just let them take you anywhere, and then it's like a bumpy road and you waiting on like drawbridges and shit? Or are you going to see the Rolls Royce in the distance and be like, there's a smooth path here. I mean, the Rolls Royce it's up ahead. I see it. I know it's there. The path is smooth. It might take me a little while to get there on foot, but you know what? I just see blue skies. I see sandy beaches. Ooh, is that an angel I hear playing a harp in the background? What is that? So there's always going to be that duality, and the main purpose of what's going on Earth at this time is that you can see all different types of figures everywhere. Pick a known name, right? If there's person A over here and they're preaching yada yada yada, they're gonna have their antithesis, their counterpart, the opposite end of their pole, preaching ada ada ada. Right? Like, it's just gonna be different. So you're gonna have yada yada, you're gonna have ada ada. Wait, what? Now I'm getting confused. They're both like, this one is saying it in this tone of voice, this one is saying it in that tone of voice. Are they saying the same thing, just reversed? Wait a second now. What should I do? So that would be an example on the third dimensional plane. There's always going to be an antithesis, and it goes by, well, the same end goal is for the ascension of the consciousness, no matter what it is, no matter if it's for the collective as a whole or if it's just you along your own personal journey. You're meant to go where you're meant to go. You're going to get there, but are Are you going to go there under the energetic vibration of you being fearful, or are you going to get there under the energetic vibration of feeling in a state of love? So the two choices, when we get down to really the crux of the matter, is it going to be fear-based or is it going to be love-based? And fear-based, when I'm talking about that there's two agendas of, let's say, the devil and Jesus, they're both looking for the same thing. It's just fourth dimensional energy, that satanic energy, because it is like the antithesis of all that is. It's like a separate kingdom unto itself, but it's still aware of the goodness. Are they trying to oppress someone by communicating codes and symbolism, or are they trying to liberate them, right? It's like, if one is on the third dimensional standpoint and they are viewing something, you know, at a fourth dimensional level, they might not recognize it for what it is. Whereas someone who is in a third dimensional vessel and they're operating from a fifth dimensional standpoint, and that's how they're seeing things, they're like, oh wait, the 4D, they did have that agenda, only they were going about it in a clandestine manner. So with these two choices, fourth dimensional energy is always going to be somewhat undercover. It's always going to look a little shady. It might be suspicious. Like there's just going to be there's going to be adrenaline involved in it. Whereas the fifth dimensional choice is just, it's going to feel neutral. It's going to feel like bliss and peace and basically nothingness, but contentment, because that is what the energy is, and that is the easy way. It does not matter if there's an obstacle course that you have to get through to get to your destination. It doesn't matter if the Rolls Royce is further up the road. If it feels good, you ain't gonna give a fuck about the obstacle course. You're gonna be like, okay, I'm traipsing through the mud now. Okay, whoa, like now I'm sprinting through tires and shit, right? It's not gonna matter, because you're gonna have fun doing it, even though it is an obstacle course. Whereas let's say someone is predominantly operating in a third dimensional standpoint and they don't know the 4D for what it is, they're going to be in that obstacle course and they are going to be causing a fear-based emotion and adrenaline fueled emotion within them. Like, oh great, I gotta traipse through mud. Oh great, now I gotta sprint through tires. It's gonna be a totally different approach, a totally different attitude. But it's like, here's what it is. On Earth, someone in a third dimensional physical vessel, because the 4D and the 5D is overlaid over this matrix, you gotta choose one, okay? If you stay in the 3D, you're just gonna be whirled about by the fourth dimensional energy, because it's trying to pull you into that vortex saying, hey, wake up, look, we have that end goal for you, look what's up there. But you refuse to see. So you know what, now we're going to drag you into it, right? It's like a tornado. It's like you got cows in the motherfucking pasture and they're just being swept up in that storm, right? And they're mooing and you watching them and you're just like, oh damn, how did that happen? Whereas someone from a fifth dimensional standpoint, they already see the tornado. They know what the tornado is. They recognize it. They're like, oh, well, I know where you gotta go. I guess you're gonna opt for the tornado route. Oh, okay, I'm gonna be over here. I ain't chasing no storms. I'm gonna be basking in the sunlight, right? It's like a totally different perspective. And one who has excelled to the fifth dimensional perspective, they can spot 4D energy so easily. It's like, oh, that's you? What's up? I see you, Satan, right? And that satanic fourth dimensional energy is not going to interfere with that Jesus fifth dimensional energy, because that's part of their agreement. Because as I said in the beginning, it's two sides of the same coin. They both have the same end goal. So Satan, he got bad motherfucking reputation, right? Like if you want to think of it as a character, as an energy, as a demon, whatever. But remember, Satan too came from source, from God, from universe, from all that is. So if we want to take it into another perspective, source, God, the all universe, is allowing that to go on, right? But it is up to the individual which path they want to go. Do they want to just be at their destination, be in the energy of their blissful outcomes. They want to be there now, and they're like, this obstacle course doesn't faze me. I got this. Like, I am God, right? Like, if I am God and I am observing 4D devils, then in my godliness, I know that I created them. If I created them, I can make them disappear. And that's really what it comes down to, because if we want to look at ourselves as our soul, which is always connected to universe, source, God, all that is, prime creator, we know that we, in a third dimensional vessel, we have opted, we have chosen to put ourselves in this little avatar so that we can make those choices and so that we can create our own reality. So it matters where one's mindset of consciousness is focused. Are they focused on hindrances that are making them feel bad? Like, who the motherfucker is that shady ass motherfucker driving that Rolls Royce? I don't want them chauffeuring me around. I'm gonna get me my own Rolls Royce. I mean, I see it up in the distance. Okay, you know what? I'm good. I'll drive myself. I don't need no one to chauffeur me around. It'd be nice, but I don't need that, right? Like, you're good either which way what happens, which again is another choice in and of itself, you know? So we, as our gods, we can see above, because we're looking now from a predominantly more fifth dimensional perspective. We can see easily into the fourth dimensional entrapments, and we know what they are because we recognize them. They don't feel so good, right? They're like, ooh, I don't know what the fuck is going on with that energy, but And then you're just like, okay, well, I'm going to go over here and be in my bliss, and whatever's going on there, if you created it as God and you're looking at it, all you have to do is turn your head the other way, don't pay attention, and whoosh, it vanishes out of your experience because you're no longer looking at it. You're no longer consciously projecting any type of energy on it. You're just like, okay, well, that's an option, not the option that I'm gonna go for, so I'm gonna look over here. And that's always the choice, and I mean this energetically speaking, but either which way, you, the seeker, as a God on earth, you creating everything, you create the obstacle and you create the pathway. It just matters on what you focus on. So if you want to call fourth dimensional energy satanic or evil or demonic or whatever, okay, just be glad you can recognize that. It's not going to interfere with you as long as you're in your fifth dimensional Christ consciousness energy that already knows that it is all that is and ever will be. It's just its source that's, you know, driving around in a little vessel that chose to do that. So it depends on your perspective, but the two of them, they have the same agenda. They want you to evolve. They want you to move forward along your evolution because you came into physical form to have physical experiences and to evolve and grow from a third dimensional perspective so that you can attain the knowledge that you felt like learning. So if I'm interested in astrology, I'm going to want to study it. And I'm going to want to find out more and more and more. It's an evolution. It's not something that's ever going to come to an end. The same thing. You came into a physical body to have physical experiences, to have more and more and more so that you attain that wisdom. And now it's a part of your soul because you know it. So you're like, whoa, I incorporated that amazing shit. I'm fucking pimp. So you can study astrology from a book that is using a language that you cannot read, or you can study astrology from a book that is written in a language that appeals to you, that you're able to interpret very easily. Are the two of them teaching different things? No, it's the same book, it's just in a different language. So you as the learner, you as the seeker, you're like, well, I don't understand that language. I see it for what it is, but I'm going to go with this one because it's just easier. It's easier for me to interpret. And that's where some individuals can become ensnared if they're looking at a potential hindrance and focused on the hindrance. This book is written in a language that I can't read. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Fuck this book, right? Whereas someone is like, well, okay, yeah, I don't know the language of this book. Let me go out and I'm going to get a book in language I understand. Oh, I love this book. It's like that. I don't know if this was all over the place, but It probably was, and it's all good. That's what I got for you today. I'm Oculus, the alien next door, and we will chit chat again soon.